Hello YouTube. In this episode we are going to be tramming the mini mill. This is the Little Machine Shop, or LMS 3900 high torque. I picked this up from Craigslist. I mentioned before in some of my previous videos, and it is definitely out of alignment. And there's really no adjustments for tramming this guy to be seen. You know, I guess if I had a bigger milling machine, you can see these two surfaces here. Let me go ahead and set the camera up here. This, cast iron, this cast iron base here, and the column that holds the head. And so I've read online, and what a lot of people are doing is they're shimming this. They'll take the bolts out and shim it. And then, you got to go around and, add one shim, and you add another shim, and then it takes your first alignment out. And I'm going, there's got to be a better way. And so kind of was thinking about it, working it in my head, and looked at some designs online about some people dealing with this issue. And I found a few little articles that kind of explain what you can do. But kind of show you what I'm going to do is these are M8 1.25 metric screws here, and there's 4 of them around the column that holds it in place. And so what I'm going to do is I've got went to the hardware store and picked up some hardware today. This is matching bolts. These are threaded rods, washers, and nuts. And so what the thought is, I'm going to have to obviously take the whole head off and then bring these down and screw those down in there. I don't know if they're drilled all the way through or not, or I'll look at it when I get the head off. But I got some extra nuts just in case. I don't have a wide selection of metrics here, so. But what the intent is I will go ahead and put a nut, and then either a washer or a lock washer or both, and then this will go through this base part here. These will be screwed into the base, and then I'll bring this down, and then I'll put the black section here in between here, and then on that section I will put another washer, another lock washer, and another screw. This is what I'm thinking. And then what will happen is that I'll have adjustment at the 4 corners of that. So then I'll get the digital scale in there, in the spindle, and then I could rotate the spindle and adjust these nuts. And this, I have a 4-way adjustment. Some of the things I read, people are concerned that it's not going to be cast against cast. That is a little bit of a concern of mine. But I figured I'd give it a shot. I got $5 worth of materials here if this works. The guy that I did read that had done this, he said that he, 6 months, and it stayed in tram and didn't have any problems. So I tried to log on to the blog where the guy kind of described this process, and I wasn't able to. Maybe I'll send the link later on. But so anyway, I will get set up here, and I'll be back and show you the process to go ahead and install this, and removing the head and all of those steps. So stay tuned. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the head all the way down to get the center of gravity as low as possible. So when I take this head off, it won't be top heavy. I already have one of the bolts out on the side, and I'm going to go ahead and take these 2 out. We'll loosen them up, not take them out. And then the head will, start to pivot as soon as I loosen these up. And then the hope is that I can just take this and lean it against the wall. That will be my hope. Or otherwise, if I got my cables up there so tight, alternatively I might have to unplug it. So, all right, so I got all the bolts loose now, and I'm going to clean up this back area here, and then try to loosen them up a little bit more and get a sense if it will balance for me. So the reason I'm doing this, if you watched the previous video to this, is I was machining the brass gibs for the lathe, and It obviously wasn't going very well. It's crooked and so forth. So I was like, okay, I got to actually finally break down and do this, learn how to do it. Okay, I got 3 screws out now. We're sitting on 1. And so anyway, I was like, yeah, I have to break down, I have to do this. I'm going to try to do some precision work. You know what I think is going to happen here is I'm going to need to get a block or something, because I think it will sit on the base, but I think the nose is going to want to sit on something. So let me go find something to sit that on, measure it, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I've got this, I guess what it used to be was part of a piano leg. Found it in one of my yard sale treasures. I actually have 3 of them. I don't know what to do with them, but it's pretty tall. Maybe I'll do what we need. All right. Gonna get this, maybe I take this camera to the other side, because I gotta need to be over there. All right. Okay. See how this will work. I think they said this thing's 168 pounds. No, it's not. I was waiting for a lot more than that. It's not that bad. Okay. At this point, I'll be moving the table out of the way. And although that's crooked, that seems to be pretty sturdy there. It's going to stay. Okay, so we've got the table separated. I'm going to go ahead and flip the table over, take a look and see if those go all the way through. I don't think they do. All right, hold on. I'll be back in just a second. All right, there's still a lot of grease on this, on the bearing surfaces, so I just want to get a towel. And got my power cord here. Okay. Here's the bottom, and just a quick look-see. You can see that the screws do not go all the way through, so probably what I'll do is just bottom those studs out. I think that's what I'll do to kind of hold them in there. All right, so I'll turn the table back over and I'll start putting the studs in. Again, so this is just going to kind of be a trial. Not 100% sure if it'll work or if it'll stretch or if it'll move or break the bolts. And these are going to be a little bit long, but after a while, if I'm happy with the configuration, I'll go ahead and cut these bolts off so they won't be obnoxious. But I did do a little trials, and they are not going to be in the way from any of the levers, even at this long distance. I could Loctite these in, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, screw them into the base, give them a little tension. The way that I'll be working the wrench on the outside should loosen these up. I could definitely see where this may introduce some flex, like the guys were talking, and you know, if it does, but I'm liking the adjustment. I might just go ahead and go with some bigger bolts, drill the casting out, and go with some bigger stuff. I don't know, a 1/2 inch or something bigger. Yeah, for your purists out there, yes, I'm using the wrench directly on the threads. Okay. Alright, so I'll go ahead and get the bottom side. My intent is to take these all the way down, pretty much. I'll get these all bottom started, then I will put the washers and the lock washers on there, then I'll come back and lift the head up. Okay, now I got the studs in, and they're bottomed out, and I don't know, I'm using the flat washer first. I don't know if I'm even in focus here. Going with the the flat washer first and then the split ring on the bottom. I don't know if that makes the most amount of sense. You know, maybe I'll just go with the flats on the bottom and use the splits on the top with flats as well. You're going through my wrenches. I do not have a 12 millimeter wrench. Not even one. I was going through all my wrenches. No 12 millimeters. So everybody probably already knows this, or at least some of you don't. You know that there's equivalencies, but hold on. If you happen to have a 1/2 inch wrench, they fit the 12 the 8 millimeter. I guess the 12 millimeter wrench for the 8M screw, 1.25. I was born in America, so metric's a little foreign to me. Although I do know it's pretty common here. Anyways, okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put the head back on, and just set it on top of these bolts and these nuts, and this is going to be fun. Balancing like 100 pounds above me, so I'll go ahead and set that down on there, and hopefully it will balance well enough that I can get a few of the top screws on. So, boy, if I had a camera operator right now, this would be way better. Yeah, for some reason, I just think this thing's going to weigh like 500 pounds. It's not that heavy, but it's pretty heavy. Okay. Oh, good, it's going to sit there. Awesome. And it will not fall. So, go ahead and turn this thing around. Bring the camera around. I get a little bit more light, and I'll be right back. Alright, I went ahead and raised the head a little bit. I mean, obviously it's not sturdy enough for machining, but it will just stand there, which is good. So I'm going down with a split washer first, and a flat washer, and whoops, I dropped it. Split washer, flat washer. So to start, begin tramming the mill, I'm just going to head and take these all the way down. I got the nuts flush up against the base, and we'll just see what it looks like right like this. So I'll get these nuts wound all the way down, and I will get the dial gauge in the spindle, and I'll show you what the results are with just adding these nuts, and see if I can. We'll also test for flex as well. Alright, so stay tuned, I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got my gauge set up here. Now previously it was, this side was 20 thousandths out. It's going to be a little difficult to swing the camera around and show you guys everything, but you'll just have to take my word for it. And it still is. It's 20 thousandth out with just taking the nuts and bottoming them out. So, oh, wait a minute. So, I don't know. It's not super high precision here. Look at that. It changed on me. Maybe I don't have this tight enough here. Okay. Yep, right, 20 thousandths. Okay, and so for that, it's showing there. Over on the other side, it's showing the 80 there and the 0 here. So what that means to me is I need to raise the far side of the table up 20 thousandths. So I'll move the camera over to the other side, and I'm sorry, 2000s. I'll move the camera around over there. 20,000s, 2,000. Somebody help me figure this out. I just need to make this thing be there on both sides. Okay, to get that level. All right, so I will pause the video, and we'll move over to the other side, loosen the nuts up, and see if we can raise it and just get it square to 0 over there, and tighten it back down, and just see how well that works. All right, I moved to the other side, and I'll just take my scale here and move it around, and you can see it's about right there on 80. So we'll go ahead and get my wrench, loosen these up. I really like this design because, wait a minute, doesn't this side need to go up? Okay. Oh, am I going the wrong way? Righty tighty, lefty loosey, right? Nope, that is not what I'm trying to get accomplished here. So I would have thought I needed the table to go up. Up, right? So as I do that, why is it going down? Oh, maybe I'm taking the nuts the wrong way. No, I'm not. All right, well, obviously we're having some technical difficulties here. I've forgotten which way is up. I'll pause this, get it straightened out, and I'll be back with you. All right, so since we're in opposite world, I guess because I'm going up and over, I've got my things reversed. So I'm going to go ahead and 0 it out here, and then I need to raise the nuts on the other side. I'll have to figure that out. I'm sure it has something to do with geometry. Oh, because I'm moving the headstock and I'm not moving, I don't know. Somebody could tell me what I'm doing wrong. I think it has something to do with gravity and magnetism. Anyway, so we'll carry this around. Still trying about the same distance out. I'll move the camera around to the other side. Okay, so since I zeroed it out on the other side and I turned it around, now it is showing it's out in the opposite direction. So anyway, I'll go ahead and loosen up this side and raise it, and then it will lower it, or something will work. It should work right because it was 180 degrees wrong the other way, so if you do it backwards, it should go the right way, I think. Okay, just loosening these up. Okay. Now, as I do this, hey, it's working the way, exactly the opposite the way I expected it. Okay, so we'll get that up to 0. Okay. I really like the thought of this besides the shims because I just don't want to be loosening this thing up and changing shims and doing all that stuff. Now the reason it's going up and down is I'm tightening alternately to the front and the back one. Okay. Bring this one up just a little bit more. Okay. Now let's see if it holds true to 0 on the other side. Alright, I'll try to give you the visual on this one. Sorry, I got my finger in the way. So obviously you've seen it tuned to around 0 there. Okay, it's 1. Come over here. And hey, it's the same amount on both sides. Perfect. Wow, okay. That works slick, only it worked backwards. Well, this is cool. I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. I know I have to do the other axis as well. I have to get a plate or something to do that, because I don't think I really have enough distance here left to right. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I'm really happy. So anyway, YouTube, thanks for watching. If you like this content, please subscribe. Any advice on bolts or nuts or thoughts about this thing, like I said, I'd mentioned that I may cut these off just so they're not so obtrusive later on if this turns to work out. You got a little play there, but they say they all have a little bit of play. I mean, there's probably quite a bit of fine-tuning here, but I'm not going to sit here and record it all. But you can see the main effect. We'll need to check and see if, I don't think I tightened the other ones up tight all the way. I know there's going to be some fine-tuning to do. But anyway, overall, I achieved the effect that I'm looking for. If I can get the stability I'm looking for, then I'll be really happy. And I'll be letting you know that in upcoming videos. All right, have a good day.